The Prophet of Allah, Musa alayhi salatu wasalam, the Prophet that had the luxury of speaking directly to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Imagine the Prophet of Allah, his people were going through a state of drought. No water. You know what that means? That means everyone was suffering. No water, no food, no crops, plants were dying, nothing was growing, animals were dying, nothing to drink, nothing to eat. Human beings were dying and suffering. Amongst them is a prophet. So the people came to Musa and said, "Ya Musa, what's going on?" I'll cut the long story short. So Musa and his people, they go to the desert. Musa raises his hands and he says, "Oh Allah, you can see what's happening to my people. Ya Allah, we're begging, we're asking for rain." Naturally, when a prophet asks, what happens? Allah answers, yes or no. Musa asked for rain, they're waiting for the clouds to come in, nothing happened. Imagine the pressure he was under. My people are turning to me, they're waiting for the response. I'm a prophet of Allah, right? I have direct relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ya Allah, I clearly asked you for rain and nothing happens. So Musa says, Ya Allah, what's happening? I asked for rain and no rain. Now listen to what Allah says. Ya Musa, from amongst your people is one sinner, and because of him and him alone, I have deprived the rain from falling. So Musa turns to his people. He says, "Oh my people, amongst you is a sinner. Come out and make yourself known." Imagine this man has now been addressed by a prophet, and now he comes to realize that because of my sin, because of my shortcoming that I thought no one knows about except me and Allah, now this man comes to realize that because of my shortcomings, all my people have been suffering because of my sin. Imagine that feeling. So the man repents, he makes tawbah to Allah, but doesn't make himself known to Musa. So Musa waits for the man to come forward, no one comes forward. Musa goes back, asks Allah, and to his amazement the rain comes and starts falling down. He says, "Ya Allah, please, some clarification. I asked for rain to begin with, you said there's a sinner. I asked for the sinner to come forward, no one came forward. I asked for rain the second time and now the rain comes down. What's going on?" Now listen to what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says to him. He says, "Ya Musa, I deprived the rain from coming because of him and him alone. But that person, he turned back to me and he asked for my forgiveness. I accepted his tawbah, and now because of him and him alone, I've allowed the rain to fall down." How many sinners are in our towns? How many of our Muslims don't pray? How many of our sisters are still unscarved? How many of our elders still cannot read Fatiha properly?